you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet,
baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
And how are we doing out there? Once again, it's time for the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. We're glad to have you with us again today. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and listen to our show here. I know there's a lot of things out there you could be doing, but none better than taking the time to listen to us here today. We're glad to have you with us. In fact, there is a network out there, CBS, the Clinton Broadcasting System. One of the things, because I don't watch the channel that much, but I remember a news pundit out there, and I don't even remember the name of it. I just remember what was being said towards the end of their show, and it was something along the lines of, we know that there's many choices available, and we're glad that you chose us. I just, one of the better taglines that I've heard coming out of media pundits, not, hey, we are the show, that kind of stuff. Just a real kind of humble thing. And that's, we try to remain humble here. And it's sometimes difficult because we're right so much. we're so ahead of the curve sometimes. And even though we're not paid the salary of somebody like a Rush Limbaugh, sometimes we're way ahead of him also. So it's hard to be humble when you're flying with turkeys. Is that or when you're hanging around with turkeys or something like that? That's an old phrase. Anyway, we're glad to have you with us. And we had some stuff going on yesterday towards the end of our show, and Joe and I were talking about how we probably should have started this segment. It was on the interview between Tucker Carlson and California Representative Adam Schiff in terms of Russian hacking and the influence of the Russians on our election process this time around. An attempt to completely circumvent and undermine and just discredit Donald Trump as a legitimate candidate and therefore a illegitimate president. That's the first and foremost. That's what's going on right now. But we didn't really finish it up the way we wanted to, so we're going to do that today. We're going to start out with that today. But having said that, let me get my partner in crime on here. How you doing today, Joe?
It's Friday. Yeah. That's the short version. And the long version is, oh, I'm sorry, you Democrat. Yes, your candidate failed. And guess whose fault it was? Hers.
Yeah.
Not the Russians. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's typical Democrat reaction. It's not our fault. Everything we did, our intentions are so good and pristine that anything we do, if it doesn't work, it's because of whoever made it not work. It's their fault. It's nothing that we did. It's like, cut me a break. I'm so tired of hearing these whiny little lib snowflakes. It's just it's irritating at times. It's, you know what? I guess it's okay because without a little irritation, pearls would never be made.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was the irritation and all the annoyance and aggravation that brought about the Trump phenomenon. So, we need to be thankful for the Democrats because if it wasn't for them, nobody would be paying attention too much to what's going on. But it's one of the things I didn't put in our notes today, but I was reading a comment that Barack Obama made in an interview that he's been giving. He's given a lot of interviews right now because he's in damage control mode, and he's compiling a list of reasons why everybody rejected his agenda. And amongst that list, there was a reference to an underhanded, behind the back reference to Southern white folk. And the way that he painted the message was, he was asked about, how much did racism affect your administration and your ability to get things done and everything. And what he basically said, well, there's a difference between the thoughts and beliefs of Northern whites and Southern whites. And the Southern whites basically, I'm paraphrasing, what he basically said was the Southern whites bought in to the birther notion that he was not a U.S. citizen. And, of course, that's a direct affront to Donald Trump, because the media likes to attribute the birther notion to Donald Trump. It was Donald Trump that put that out there in the public eye, completely devoid of the fact that it was actually Hillary Clinton who put that out there in 2008 during the primary season when she was running against Barack Obama. And it's been attributed to something that Trump did, and because Trump has been endorsed by organizations like the KKK and the white nationalist movement and all these other things, alt-right, all this stuff, it automatically brands Donald Trump. He made a comment to that when you won't disavow the bigots and the racists out there that are endorsing you, and so it was a very underhanded slight against white Southern voters. And so he, in his own way, painted the white South as deplorables. That I just want you to know that, because he's compiling this list. The other list the other item on his list right now, of course, is the Russian hacking. He's joined the crowd. In fact, he may have been the one that actually initiated this thought. When he realized that he was going to get his ass kicked. And what I mean by that is the loss of the gubernatorial positions and state legislators and all this other stuff. They've just, nobody is looking at the big picture. If you look at the big picture, you know why Donald Trump won. It wasn't just because of Donald Trump. You look at the state levels and the changes that have taken place since Barack Obama has been in office, and the number of governorships they've lost, the number of state Senate, assembly seats, legislators, assembly, that kind of stuff. You look at all that stuff, and you can see that over the last 8 years, gradually, the country has been repudiating his agenda and his methods and his policies, So there it is. Let's see. We're going to touch on that. I've got a little bit more that I want to share on that, and it's going to be kind of an evolutionary discussion today that we're going to hop from one segment to another. But the point I want to really get out to everybody today is what you're seeing right now is the formulation of the narrative that the left is going to try to use. One, I think primarily to discredit Donald Trump. Two, to run damage control and try to protect Obama's legacy. Three, prep the turf, get everything prepared for whatever imbecile they put up in 2020, whether it be Hillary Clinton at 74 years old or 75 years old, or whether it be Joe Biden at almost 80 years old.
But they'll have fresh hair plugs.
Yeah. And, that's what's going on here. And, like one of the other things I heard, I'm just popping stuff off the top of my head here. Julian Castro, Julian Castro, I think it was Julian Castro, one of the Castro brothers, the twin commies.
You mean ones from America, or not the ones in Cuba?
No, yeah, but these two guys have both been very active at the state level. One of them, Julian, I think, is the one that's ahead of HUD right now.
That's correct.
He was the former mayor of San Antonio. Their mother is the founder of the activist group La Raza. And he has, along with other congressmen, sent a letter to Barack Obama and asked him to pardon 270,000 illegals that are here under the 14th Amendment. Okay? And it just begs the question, why would you need to pardon somebody if your view is that they haven't done anything wrong? And, you got to ask yourself this stuff. What's the motivation behind this? And the fact that they're here illegally, they're saying is some type of civil offense rather than federal offense. And even the people that side with the immigration issue that the left holds are saying, wait a minute, you're asking Obama to grant immunity from civil violations or civil offenses. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's for. But the bigger question in my mind is, why do you need to pardon somebody if they haven't done anything wrong? That's the bigger question. And even if he did do that, it wouldn't hold up in court. It couldn't stop Donald Trump from signing off on that DACA executive order and just saying, hey, this is out the window. But people, again, everything is trying to establish a narrative. It doesn't matter if it's real. It doesn't matter if it's factual. It doesn't matter if it can be confirmed or denied. It's just get it out there and keep putting it out there until it becomes the narrative that the left buys into and believes.
John, they want, it's funny, they're calling all this stuff fake news, but the stuff that's actually, the stuff that these people are portraying to be real news is the fake news.
Yeah, you're right. And you're right, because every narrative of the left is fake news because it's based on sentiments, misplaced compassion. Here's the fake news. The Democrats actually give a rat's ass about the people they represent. There's the big news. There's the headline, because we all know. I thought of this morning, and maybe I'll expound on it when we get back here from break here. I thought about it this morning. The Democrats are nothing more than Republicans, and the Republicans are nothing more than Democrats. They're both the same. They're both into their own version of capitalism. And one of it is corrupt. The other one is maybe legitimate, but I'll explain it later here. I'm trying to rush my words here because we got to come up on a break. We're past the break time, but we're going to run a commercial here. We'll be back, and I'll expound on this just a little bit as we get into today's festivities. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back. A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. Okay, hey, we're back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and I want to just kind of pick up where I left off here just before the break here. I just want to reiterate something here. It's not a major deal, but I think it's worth reiterating. I was walking by the TV this morning, and as is the case when this kind of stuff happens, I catch a little bit about whatever my wife is watching at that particular point in time. And it's usually, depending on the time that I get up in the morning. This morning it happened to be CBS This Morning, I think is the name of the show, their morning news show. Anyway, they were talking, and I did just kind of one of these things you catch off to the side. I'm not really focused on it. I'm just catching dribs and drabs of what's being talked about. And they're talking about the effect of Trump's administration and how it's going to play on the economy. And as they were talking, and it's just I stopped and I just started to pay attention a little bit to what they were saying. And really, the light kind of went on my head. And we've talked about it before on this show. But one of the things that really need to be reiterated here, and that is that really what the left is at this point in time is basically just another version of the right. And we know, the narrative is that people on the left are more compassionate. They're more concerned about the working man. They're more, they're concerned about the middle class. They're concerned about the different demographics, the homosexual community, the black community, the Asian community, the Hispanic community, everybody but, the white community. That's really what it's about right now. And it's really just, I've used the phrase creative destruction. And if you really listen closely to how news pundits talk about the economy, what they're really saying is they're not so much upset with how Trump or what Trump wants to do. They're upset with the way he wants to do it because it won't work for them, those who are trying to bring about this creative destruction. For instance, Barack Obama on climate change. It isn't about climate change. It isn't about saving the planet. It's about getting the country dependent on green energy so that he can make money off all the stocks that he's bought off his presidential salary. Companies like Solyndra and stuff like that. These were stocks that Barack Obama himself had invested in. And so when you hear this kind of stuff, and then you hear the media attacking Trump, that everything Trump is going to do as far as business community is going to be a conflict of interest because he'll do it to make money off of it. Well, what about the Clintons? I mean, that's the name of the game. The elitist, the people that are up there in office where they are there because of two things: money and the influence that money buys. And so this whole idea that the left is somehow exempt from this concept of being capitalist pigs is ludicrous, because that's exactly what they are. They're no less a capitalist than the Koch brothers. Okay, it's that their agenda needs to be put forth so that they can shift profits going to Exxon into their coffers. With companies like they can't be Cylinder, but to get the prototype of a green energy company, that kind of thing. That's what they're doing. This thing about solar panels. Okay, solar panels may be a great thing, but solar panels aren't going to drive your car. Okay, you're gonna and people say, well, you can do that. No, physics show the size of the battery that you need to run on solar power to get a car going. Maybe someday they'll be able to make it the size of a microchip, but right now there's so much weight involved in it, no car would be able to support it. Physics. I remember years ago. Remember when I don't know if you remember this, Joe. You remember back when Obama first came in office, first started pushing this idea of solar-powered cars, battery cars, and apparently I don't know if the story is true or not, but I just thought it was so indicative, so demonstrative of how leftists think, that they went to these car engineers and said, this is what we want to do, and the engineers told them and said, we can't do that because the weight and size of a battery to drive the car would be so tremendous, the car wouldn't be able to handle the weight. And one of the guys said, well, why is that? And he said, well, it's called the law of physics. And the other guy said, well, we'll have to repeal that law. That's kind of indicative of what I'm getting at here. So I just thought it worthy to note here that everything you're going to hear about attacking Donald Trump and his moves on the economy and everything else, it's all about the shifting of wealth from one class to another, from the rich Republicans to the wannabe rich Democrats. Okay, that's what it's about. And let's not forget that some of the biggest contributors to the Democrat Party are also some of the richest men in the world. Warren Buffett, George Soros, people like that. So these people are not void and exempt from putting their hand in the pot in a cookie jar. All right? So I just want to get that straight. All right. Where are we at here? Where are we at in our notes here? Anything you want to add to that, Joe?
No. That was your rant. I'm going to let you own all of that one. Sorry. It's just the Dems, as usual, the progressives, their policies never fail. They're just not given enough chance, or someone's done it wrong. That kind of thing. They're so disingenuous. It's just unbelievable. What's really been bugging me is this thing with Schiff and Tucker Carlson that we talked about.
Yeah,
and whole narrative. And I looked up and I sent you the notes. And in 3 November, the Australian broadcaster was John Pilger, and he did an interview with Assange. And this is a quote from the interview that he did back then. This is a few days, a week before the American election. And this is pretty much sums it up. And this is from Assange now, the guy from WikiLeaks. And that's the other thing. WikiLeaks, has any of this stuff that has been, quote unquote, leaked, been found to be false?
Yeah, and that's the point. That is the point. And that's what the left is trying to do.
Has any of it been false? Any of it? No. Not 10 years it hasn't. Not one time has it been found to be false from WikiLeaks. So let me read you this quote. This is Julian Assange on 3 November. The Clinton camp has been able to project a neo-McCarthyistic hysteria that Russia is responsible for everything. Hillary Clinton has stated multiple times falsely that 17 U.S. intelligence agencies had assessed that Russia was the source of our publication. That's false. we can say that the Russian government is not the source. Assange told Australian broadcaster John Pilger that day.
Right. And that's the that is the narrative. That's the narrative. So let's do this. I want to play part of the clip back from yesterday. We played this towards the end of the show. We didn't get to the whole clip, but this is towards the beginning of the show, and this will kind of set the tone here for where we're going in this segment and the segments probably leading up to the end of the first hour here. This is Adam Schiff in a conversation with Tucker Carlson, who, by the way, I do have to make this disclosure. I was not aware of this because I do not watch these channels to such a degree that I know who the players are. Tucker Carlson has moved over to Fox News. I didn't know that. I thought he was still on CNN.
Oh, no. He's been on as a contributor to Fox for quite a while, but now he has his own show now on Fox. Remember the time when he spoke? I said he was on Brett Baer's show, and he said, "Hey, let's be honest. No one's proven that these are Russian emails. Blah blah blah. The Russian email has done this. That the Russians have hacked these emails. No one." And then right after they just ended the show. They just suddenly ran out of time.
Yeah.
And that was the last thing he said. And then a couple weeks later, here's Tucker Carlson. He has his own show on Fox now.
Yeah. He's taken over the 7:00 news slot Eastern time on Fox News, because that's why I didn't know it, because I'm not watching Fox News at 7:00 Eastern time. I'm here on the show.
And I'm not really watching it either. I just happened to see Tucker on there, and then I saw this article, and I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, well, I had posted something on social media talking about what we were going to talk about tonight, and one of our listeners immediately responded, "Is he at CNN?" And I oh, no, he's not. I'm sorry, he moved. Okay, beat me up. All right, but the point is, this is from the interview with Adam Schiff on his show, Tucker Carlson's show, over at Fox News. So let's listen to this clip. It's towards the beginning of the interview. It's 2 minutes long. I'm going to play the whole thing just so you get the drift of where we're going here.
With you. So one of the complaints in this letter, which is pretty interesting, is that Russia, and I'm quoting now, hacked our political institutions by, among other things, giving us access to John Podesta's emails in WikiLeaks. Now, I'm against hacking people's personal emails, for sure. I think it's a problem. But no one contests that those emails were real and the information in them was true, and voters got to see that, and it helped them assess how they wanted to vote. Why is that bad? Are you really arguing against more information for voters?
And are you really arguing in favor of a foreign adversarial party hacking into the American...
Of course not. No, I'm explicitly not. I'm just saying that once information comes into the public view, then why is that bad?
Then if we're in agreement that we shouldn't tolerate foreign countries interfering in our election, hacking and dumping of information, then we shouldn't condone it in any way. Now, are you saying that we're going to look the other way and we're going to ignore Russian interference because they brought to light facts that were helpful to one candidate or hurtful to the other or of public interest? The voters had a chance to evaluate that. They made their decision. But if we're going to protect ourselves from further Russian meddling in the future, we're going to have to call them out on it. We're going to have to inform the American people about it. And Donald Trump may have been the beneficiary, and I think he certainly was, of the Russian meddling this time. But when President-elect Trump has to cross Putin, as invariably he will, because Putin is not our friend. The president-elect may think Putin is our friend, but he's not. Then he may be the subject of the same interference.
I get it. Nobody's for hacking. Let me just make one clear point. You don't know that Vladimir Putin was behind those hacks.
Well, we do know this, and I can say this.
But you don't know that, so let's not pretend that you do.
Well, let's not ignore what the Secretary of Homeland Security and the Director of National Intelligence said publicly, which is that these hacks were of such seriousness they could not have taken place without the approval at the highest levels of the Kremlin.
That's speculation, and we've seen a lot. Well, it is speculation.
It is not speculation. You can only say speculation.
It's a statement of fact?
It is a statement of the intelligence community's best assessment,
okay.
and you can quarrel with that because there's a political reason to do it.
Okay, so you see the insistence there that just because Jay Johnson from the Department of Homeland Security and James Clapper, who oversees the 16 defense agencies, nobody asked each one of those defense agencies individually whether they think Russia was behind the hacking, but you have to listen to how he played it out here. The way he was speaking is that he's saying, first of all, the Russians had to be behind this because the level of complexity of being able to hack something like the DNC servers or whatever could only come from an authority like the Kremlin. Okay, so it's like, first you're telling us that. So I guess my first thought was: are you saying then that we're not advanced enough in this country that somebody from this country could have hacked the DNC server? Okay, is it just the Russians? Are they technologically so advanced now? But the point is he's saying, one, it was hacked, and it could have only been the Russians. And that, this is, but notice it is the talking point, because as we get further into our conversation today, you're going to hear this almost echoed. This is when you know it's a talking point. This is when you know it's a lie. The talking points, no matter who's talking, are basically the exact same. Everybody's gotten the memo. This is how you're going to address this. It's a video. It's not the Libyan embassy. It's the video that caused it. All right, that kind of stuff. We got to go to a break. When we get back, we'll continue right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contest and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The ConservativeSyndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. We were talking before the break here, or we replayed part of the clip from the interview between Tucker Carlson and California Representative Adam Schiff, in which Adam Schiff continues to sell the talking point and narrative that the Russians hacked into the DNC servers and the White House, and they're the propagandists behind fake news, and because of their influence, they were able to influence the elections.
Yeah. Let's just go ahead and give some context to all this. For those that might not be aware of what we're talking about with these emails and whatever, let me just go over this now. Over the past year, basically, WikiLeaks uploaded over 30,000 emails from Hillary Clinton's private email server, the illegal private email server, by the way, while she was Secretary of State, and that was followed up by nearly 20,000 emails sent to and by members of the United States Democrat National Committee, exposed that party's leadership and how they were, dismissive against just totally laughing at Bernie Sanders and his campaign and his outsider campaign. And then finally, WikiLeaks, during the last month of the campaign there before the November election, WikiLeaks posted over 50,000 emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, whatever, the guy running her campaign, John Podesta, who used to be Bill Clinton's chief of staff, and he's they're quite upset that these emails were leaked. And again, Assange was asked, "Well, where are the emails about Donald Trump?" And what was he saying? Well, there aren't any emails about Donald Trump.
Oh, we couldn't find any. That's what he said. We couldn't find any on him.
Not any dirt on the guy. So if you're looking for dirt on Donald Trump, well, we looked. We can, but excuse me. Now Schiff is out there spewing the talking point, and as you said before the break, John, we know it's a talking point because they're all saying the same exact thing. So that being the case, I can't wait till we find the emails leaked that prove that that's exactly what it is, a talking point, and they all colluded together. Because wait for that email to come out.
Well, yeah. I mean, we learned a very valuable lesson with the Benghazi thing. Remember, the video was the cause of this. And you want to talk about fake news. There's some fake news for you, that it was a video that caused people to uprise, and it wasn't the video at all. This is something that had actually been going on for quite a while, had happened in other embassies. What we did find out is that there were guns being run through the Libyan embassy, and the rebels wanted those guns. And from what I understand, they ended up with those guns. All right.
Yes, and after the attack.
On
the, and remember, I was saying that I caught something out of that last clip when Schiff was going, well, what happens when Donald Trump has to stand up to Vladimir Putin? And And Vladimir is the one that's out there hacking our emails and committing cyber espionage. What are we going to do about that, Tucker? Well, gee, Adam Schiff, congressman, one each from California. What about Hillary Clinton? Was found out in the emails, and all her pay-to-play scandals with the Russians, Uranium One deal, all of that was found out just because of these emails are leaked. You don't seem to be a bit concerned about it. If Hillary Clinton would have been president, well, this wouldn't even be a problem right now. If Hillary Clinton was president, we wouldn't even be talking about it.
Okay, so the strategy that, like I said, there's several things behind this because liberals think like this. Okay, we've got a problem. We've got an issue. We've been exposed. Something's been revealed. We have to, we've laid this out for you a lot of times here on this show. We say, okay, what's the first thing you do? You deny it.
Deny it. Okay. That's what Clinton did. Remember? Hey, I gave up all my emails. See, I don't have any emails. Right. I don't have any emails. What emails? What are you talking about? Deny. And then what's the next step, John?
You spin it. You spin it. You start spinning it. The emails were.
It's all illegal. All my predecessors had emails like that too. What's next, John?
Yeah, right. And then from there, when that doesn't work or when it runs its distance, then you turn around and you blame. You find somebody. You find somebody that you can blame it on. And the gist of what we're hearing here from the left is not that the email leaks were valid, that they were truthful, that they revealed everything that nobody on the Democrat Party wanted revealed, that is what influenced the election. It's no. We have a demon out there. Alinsky rule number 9. Find that demon. That demon, of course, is the Russians. And along with that, we demonize, we associate Donald Trump with the Russians so that we can demonize Donald Trump.
Yep.
Okay, so it's blame, spin, it's deny, spin, and blame. That's the standard tactic. What we're into now is we're into the blame game. Okay, the sources behind this. Not that it doesn't matter if the stuff is real or true or factual. Well, let's take the non-factual, the non-proven, the allegations, the innuendo. Remember Barack Obama telling us we don't work that way. We don't work with innuendo and insinuations. We work with the facts. Well, you have no facts that the Russians were behind this. Julian Assange apparently knows who the source is, but he's not going to give you that source because that would render his organization irrelevant. People are not going to give they're not going to give information if they have to fear for being exposed and being targeted. So, Assange isn't going to admit who it was.
No.
But he did deny that it's the Russians. No, the Russians had nothing to do with this. All right, it might just be that 400-pound kid in his bedroom somewhere. You don't know. You don't have any idea. But because you need a demon, we got to find a demon. We can't blame Trump directly. So let's find the bigger source, the higher source, as Adam Schiff was referring to. The higher source. This could only have come from the Kremlin.
Yeah, the only smart people around are the Russians. The Russians were, it could have been the North Koreans, but the North Koreans are the biggest boogeyman as the Russians are. So let's blame the Russians. And who would cause more crap for the incoming administration but the Russians or the Chinese? Either one would work. But, we have to find somebody that we could go ahead and blame and cause more problems and create problems for the new administration. Because Lord knows we want the new administration to succeed. Or do they? Okay. If the administration succeeds, that means America succeeds. Do we really want America to succeed? Maybe they don't.
Yeah. Now, the other part of this is the reason the Russians have been chosen. You got to listen to this part carefully here. The Russians were chosen as the target because, as Adam Schiff said in his interview here, the clip we played, they're not our friends. Now, what does that mean? What they're looking for is a reasoning, a reason, an excuse, an explanation as to why the federal government has to get involved in things like the state elections. Why does there need to be federal oversight? Because we're dealing with an international situation here. We're dealing with a geopolitical enemy. And we're the only ones that have the resources to take on the Russian government. Now, what does that mean? Well, you get into things again like data mining. You get in Facebook and Google have come out and announced that they're trying to do what they can do to stop fake news.
Fake news. And who decides who's fake news?
Yeah, they decide what's fake news.
Censorship.
So now
censorship.
Yeah, so now you can start targeting. You can start targeting people that are using Facebook and Google, and you can arbitrarily just block people. And you know who's going to be blocked is us domestic terrorists. That's where they're going to go. They're going to be able to come after an account like our radio page, the Conservative Syndicate, on Facebook or Twitter, and say, well, you know what? Well, you shared an article that is fake news by our determination. Therefore, we're going to block you. We're going to keep you out of the picture here. We're going to immobilize you. That kind of stuff. That's where we're going here. The federal government wants oversight. The progressives want oversight.
There you go.
And they want oversight, and they want to justify that oversight as a national defense issue. That's the big picture there. And there's other elements of here. We got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll continue right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. The ConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The ConservativeSyndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back. And you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. We want to encourage you to visit our website. You might really want to take the time to catch our shows over the weekend here. If you want to catch it from one of our affiliates, you can go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and they're all listed there for you right on the homepage. I just upgraded the site today. Went out and did some work on it and got it all up to snuff, updated some things that have changed. But we had some really good shows this week with Scott Faulkner and Jonathan Dunn. And who else do we have this week? I think Audrey Russo.
Say that Audrey person. Yes,
yeah.
Audrey Russo.
Audrey first, okay. And just some really good segments here.
Hey, forget to go to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can go to our YouTube channel. Right, exactly. And in fact, I gotta get the link for that. Well, I'll have to pull this up here. We are so all over the place right now. I haven't memorized all the places we are right now. We're on TuneIn. TuneIn carries our show. you want to listen to it on your phone, you can go to TuneIn. Well, you can go to our website and do that. Spreaker carries us. And then we have our affiliates like Red Nation Rising, Red State Radio, Patriot News Network, SHR Media, High Plains Radio. I mean, we're out there. We're all over the place. And so that's one thing I'm going to, and I know if you go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, there is a link to our YouTube if you want to listen to it on YouTube. If you want to help Google sell their advertising, you can go out there and do that. Let's see what.
Maybe soon we'll be getting on Russian YouTube or something, since we're nothing more than Russian hacks now, because we don't agree with the narrative that the Russians are hacking the DNC and Hillary Clinton and the Democrats in general.
Well, you know, one thing I know, I may get to it here a little bit later as we get into some of these other articles here. YouTube has a channel over in Russia, believe it or not, but it's not called YouTube. And maybe during the break I'll have to find it. I saw it in one of the pieces that I have.
It's called Comrade Vision.
What is it?
Comrade Vision.
Anyway, there's okay. Yeah, that was great.
Let's probably move on.
Yeah, I just kind of that I was chuckling at that so much I just kind of lost my track of what of what I was talking about. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
We're out at YouTube. That's the point. Go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. You'll see the big YouTube icon there. Just click on it. It'll take you to our YouTube page. All of our broadcasts are posted there. Or if you save you a couple of clicks, you can listen to it right at our website.
Yeah, and if you look right at the website, you'll see some fake news right on the front page there of Mr. Project Veritas there, giving us some more fake news.
Yeah, and some other fake news that was revealed by the very people that were doing it, and they've tried to discredit it because of the fact that it was recorded by somebody that's not one of their own.
Yeah, so it must be fake news if it's not approved and censored by the Democrat National Committee. It must be fake news.
Yeah, exactly. If it doesn't have the seal and approval of the White House, it's fake news.
All right, if it doesn't have a donkey's ass on it, it must be fake news.
Yes, exactly. You know, I caught an article here. I just want to share this here in a few moments that we have here left in the hour here. So I don't want to get too deep into another topic here and then have to cut it off real quick. National Review. One of the things I've noticed, have you noticed, Joe, how National Review is becoming a little bit more Trump-friendly as time goes along here?
It's amazing, John. It's really amazing. Like I said, though, are we all going to come together? Do we want America to succeed or fail? Yeah. It's the same crap we heard. Do you want America to succeed or fail under Barack Obama? Oh, why do you want to hurt him so bad? What, do you want America to fail?
Well, here we go, and I'm glad you said that. It's a perfect lead in here. National Review, Victor Hansen wrote an article yesterday. It's titled "Assessing the Obama Legacy Against His Own Milepost." Okay, so I'm going to run through this list here real quick. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on each topic, but just so you get an idea here, let's put this thing in perspective. Joe mentioned earlier, we got to put things in perspective here. Give you context to what it is we're saying and why we're saying it. In his 2016 State of the Union address, President Obama summarized his achievements, and he's been doing it ever since. That same night, the White House issued a press release touting Obama's accomplishments. Yay. Now that he will be leaving, how well did these initiatives listed in the press release actually work out?
Okay, let's go for it.
Okay, securing the historic Paris Climate Agreement. The accord was never submitted to Congress as a treaty. It will be ignored by President-elect Trump. Achieving the Iran nuclear deal.
Ooh.
That deal was another effort to circumvent the treaty ratifying authority of Congress. It has green-lighted Iranian aggression, and it probably ensured nuclear proliferation. Iran's violations will cause the new Trump administration either scrap the accord or send it to Congress. Securing the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Send it to Congress for certain rejection.
Yeah, for certain rejection.
It's not just send it to Congress. It's going to be rejected.
Right, exactly.
Strike two.
Securing the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Even the Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton came out against this failed initiative. It has little support in Congress or amongst the public. Opposition to TTP helped fuel the Trump victory.
Strike three.
All right. Reopening Cuba. The recent Miami celebration of the death of Fidel Castro and Trump's victory in Florida are testimonies to the one-sided deal's unpopularity. The United States got little in return for the Castro brothers' propaganda coup.
Strike four.
Destroying ISIL and dismantling Al-Qaeda.
Ooh.
We are at last making some progress against these JV teams, as Obama once described them. Neither group has been dismantled or destroyed. Despite the death of Osama bin Laden, the widespread reach of radical Islam into Europe and the United States remains largely unchecked.
Strike five. Ending
combat missions in Afghanistan and Iraq. The Afghan war rages on. The precipitous withdrawal of U.S. peacekeepers in 2011 from a quiet Iraq helped sow chaos to the rest of the Middle East, and we're now sending troops back to Iraq.
Strike six.
Closing Guantanamo Bay. This was an 8-year broken promise. The detention center still houses dangerous terrorists, although most of them have been released.
Strike seven.
Rebalancing the Asia-Pacific region. The anemic Asia pivot failed. The Philippines is now openly pro-Russian and pro-Chinese. Traditional allies such as Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea are terrified that the U.S. is no longer a reliable guarantor of their autonomy.
Strike eight.
Supporting Central American development. The once achievable promise of free market, democratic Latin America is moribund. Dictatorships in Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua remain impoverished bullies. All have been appeased by the U.S.
Strike nine.
Strengthening cybersecurity. Here's the one. Democrats claim Russian interference in the recent election. If true, it is a proof that there is no such thing as cybersecurity. The WikiLeaks releases the hacked emails of Clinton and the Edward Snowden disclosures confirm the Obama administration was the least cybersecure presidency in history.
Strike 10.
Growing the open government partnership, the NSA scandal. James Clapper, head of the Defense Department, has said that Russia is behind the hacking, okay? Just so you get context there. Hounding of Associated Press journalists, some of the WikiLeaks trolls, and the corruption of the IRS all reveal that the Obama administration was one of the least transparent presidencies in memory.
Strike 11.
And we'll stop with this one here. Honoring our nation's veterans. Obama's Department of Veteran Affairs was mired in scandal, and some of it nightmarish. VA hospitals were awash in disease and unnecessary deaths. Secretary of Veteran Affairs Eric Shinsky was forced to resign amid controversy. Former Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano apologized for issuing an offensive report falsely concluding that the returning war vets were liable to join right-wing terrorist groups.
And we'll just start again. That's strike one, because that's a big one anyway. That's, the people that we should be protecting the most.
Yeah, and it goes. I mean, the list really goes on here.
It does go on quite a bit. I'm scrolling down through it, John, and there's at least 6 more.
Yeah,
so got up to 12, and gee, it doesn't seem like any of them have really worked out.
Yeah, it's like none of them worked out. None of them are where they're supposed to be. None of them accomplished anything, but everything accentuated and escalated the situations as they already are.
Well, they worked out according to Barack Obama and what he wanted to go ahead and have happen, but in a traditional American sense and point of view, none of them worked out.
Right, exactly. We got to go to a break here. We're at the top of the hour here. Edward's Notebook, pay some bills. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
America the Beautiful is already benefiting from the Trump effect. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, after 8 dark years of economic misery, the United States economy is starting to show visible signs of life. Pro-American Donald Trump is still waiting in the wings before stepping into his elected role as president of these United States. But amazingly, he already has done more before taking the oath of office to invigorate the U.S. economy than outgoing progressive President Obama did over the past 80 years as the leader from behind president. Because Donald Trump took the time to reach out to Bill Ford, the Ford Motor Company has modified plans to ship auto production to Mexico, and thus jobs will be spared in Michigan. Air conditioning manufacturer Carrier of Indiana will now not be pulling up stakes and moving their headquarters to Mexico. With the promise of reducing America's burdensome corporate tax rate and abusive regulations, the legendary U.S. economy is once again poised to take off. By God's grace, good days are dawning upon our republic.
Happy days are here again.
Don't blow it this time, America. I'm Ron Edwards.
A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. The Conservative Syndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
All you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. with your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet.
Staying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Akos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Akos.
All right, we're back. Hour 2 right here at the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Akos. I want to kind of close up our little discussion that we had just before the top of the hour here about the failure of Barack Obama. This article really does something for me. It really puts things in a really clear perspective. Very shortly spoken, not a whole lot of commentary on it, but just a simple fact behind each one of the accusations. And in line with that, think about this. Think about this just closely for a moment. When has Donald Trump, at any time in front of the crowds that come to see him, ever booed him? Ever booed him? I can't. In my recollection here of all the rallies he went to and all the rallies he's doing now on his thank you tour and, traveling around the country thanking people for electing him, I don't remember him ever being booed. Do you, Joe?
Being disagreed with?
No, I mean literally booed.
Well, yeah, because he was booed because they disagreed with what he said.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. And lo and behold, he's in Baton Rouge today. And he paid Barack Obama a compliment, I guess, of sorts, and crickets and boos, some scattered boos and crickets. I just reading here from just this article I just pulled up here during the break here. It says that Donald Trump apparently doesn't see much point in bashing President Obama anymore, but the same can't be said for some of his supporters. The crowd at the President-elect's Friday afternoon Get Out the Vote rally in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, lapped up most of his usual talking points on manufacturing and military might. Now that he's won the presidency, the bona fide showman was not as vitriolic as, what's that word? Okay, or impassioned, not as brutal, let me put it that way, impassioned as he had been on the campaign trail. Trump even had kind things to say about Obama, who he previously called the worst president maybe in the history of our country. President Obama, who, by the way, I've gotten along with so well, Trump told supporters during a speech at Dow Chemical Facility, the moment turned awkward. Trump's fans went largely silent as scattered boos broke out in the audience before he could finish his sentence. No, he's really doing great. He's been so nice. Yeah, I'll tell you why he's been nice, Donald, because we're sitting here going over the list of his failures.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get you to at least concede some of these things.
Yeah, so you don't go after him and overturn him. The thing is like we said the other day when he was bringing Al Gore to Trump Tower, these people are not your friend. They are trying to, they will eat you. They will impeach you if they can.
Yeah.
They are not your friend.
Yeah. So I want to close up we were listing the talking points of the National Review contributor here. What's this guy's name again? Victor Hansen. Okay. And we left a couple off the list here, but I want to mention them. And then the closing line is just classic here. One of the things that Obama pledged or said he was doing was making sure our politics reflect America's best. Yeah. Well, this campaign showed that went out the window.
Yeah, as we found out that they were colluding against Bernie Sanders, and they were going to make damn sure that Bernie never got the nomination.
Right.
Yeah, that's the best part of it all.
Yeah, plus all the fake news about Donald Trump.
Yes.
Protecting voting rights. Riots followed the recent presidential election. Democrats without merit joined failed Green Party candidate Jill Stein's recount in King's key swing states, which, by the way, have all but ended. Okay, and no change whatsoever. And when there was changes, Trump benefited from it. So, strengthening policing. lethal attacks on police are soaring. Okay? Promoting immigrant and refugee integration and citizenship awareness. Wow, what a lot of ways of saying letting Syrian refugees in and opening the borders to undocumented Democrats.
A line of BS that is.
Right. Okay, now here's the line. This is what I wanted to get to. Why then has the president's previously sinking popularity suddenly rebounded in 2016?
He's leaving.
Well, he's been absent. Okay, Obama disappeared from our collective television screens, replaced by unpopular candidates, Clinton and Trump. So it was the lesser of two evils, I guess, in the minds of the media, at least, that Clinton and Trump stole the limelight from Barack Obama. And you know the old saying, out of sight, out of mind. You know, we weren't seeing the guy around. And so, yeah, Barack Obama may be the only president in our lifetime that is more popular for doing nothing than doing something.
Well, he did say he wanted to fundamentally transform the nation.
Yeah.
So out of sight, and I didn't mind.
The last line here. So Obama now departs amid the ruin of the Democratic Party into a lucrative post-presidency, detached and without a legacy.
Everybody, Barack Obama, yay. Victor Davis Hanson.
And you know what, guys? This is perfect. This is just the point I was talking about earlier in the show. Obama departs now amid the ruin of the Democratic Party. He had a very heavy hand in bringing that about, along with Pelosi and Reid, into a lucrative post-presidency, detached and without a legacy. Creative destruction, my friends. Yep. He now stands to make $1 billion writing books, giving speeches, following the Clinton trail. That's really what's going to happen here.
Criticizing and critiquing every step of the way.
Yep, and telling everybody that it wasn't me, it was America. If America had just got on board, it would be great. I'd still be your president, for crying out loud.
And check this out. He's going to go out there. He's going to say, I told Donald Trump it wasn't that easy. Every time Donald Trump doesn't get something done, that's what he's going to be saying.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah. So they're going to try to reframe. All you're going to see, folks, it's going to come out different. You're going to see a repackaged progressive narrative, new and improved. All right, and it's like those products out there. They put it in a different shape in a bottle, and they tell you it's new and improved. Okay, the product's the same, but the packaging is different, and people buy it thinking it's new and improved because the label says so. That's what you're going to see here. We got to go to a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. The ConservativeSyndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you have been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. Okay, hey, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I am your host, John Matthews, Mad Prophet of the Airways, along with Joe. You can't handle the truth, Hakos. And we're talking about the...
that's for the Democrats.
I want to kind of shift gears here a little bit. I want to start out by reiterating an article that we talked about yesterday. I'm not going to reread the article. We read the entire article to you yesterday verbatim and just made comments on it as we were reading. It's not a real long article, but I just want to emphasize something here. The way, we're talking about how the left wants to do everything they can to discredit Donald Trump as a legitimate president, even before he takes office. And it's going to be the entire campaign of the left for the next 4 years, is to just try to, look what you guys did. Look what you monsters you southern white people down there, look what you did. You domestic terrorists, you deplorables, you unredeemables. Look what you've done to our great progressive movement that was brought about by Barack Obama. And, that's going to be the narrative. And it's going to come at you different ways. They're going to accelerate and accentuate the divisional things in this country and throw at some new ones. It's going to be an attack against Trump's intelligence, his lack of experience. Isn't it amazing? Everybody in the country talks about the fact that we have too many politicians that have been around for too long, but whenever it comes to an election, everybody wants to talk about experience.
Yeah.
Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. All right? So, we talked about this coming out of this article that was on Vox, Ezra Klein's outfit over there, leftist rag, Matthew Iglesias, about how Donald Trump is running the least popular transition in decades. And they were quoting Pew Center that shows that Trump is drastically underperforming Barack Obama, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and George H.W. Bush. We pointed out to you that in this list of people that have done it so much better than Trump, Ronald Reagan wasn't listed. And yet Trump is being compared to Ronald Reagan by many people out there. Even some of his opponents are saying, yeah, he's Reaganistic, okay? Now, I brought that up because what they're really trying to sell us is they're trying to sell their base is that Trump is going about this thing all wrong and it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be just the worst thing you could ever imagine. All right. Well, I'm looking at the New York Post today, and I just want to share with you a couple of paragraphs here, and then we'll get Joe's comments on this. New York Post, Selena Zito, all right? Even anti-Trump working class voters are having second thoughts. These are people that were no Trumpers, voted for Hillary Clinton, and now it's apparently even they are having second thoughts about casting their vote for Hillary Clinton. Indianapolis, Robert James stood outside the Carrier plant. Remember, Trump was at the Carrier plant earlier this week, touting a deal that he'd made with the state of Indiana, and it's going to keep not all the jobs at Carrier, but it's going to keep the plant open. That was the intent. The Carrier plant, just before the president-elect addressed workers at the refrigeration and heating assembly factory. I feel a great swing of emotions that go from disbelief to satisfaction that this is happening in our community. An area like this can go from a stable middle-class area to foreclosures and urban blight in the blink of an eye. This is Robert James, an employee at the Carrier plant. James would never dream of voting Republican, it goes on to say. For all of my life, the Democrats have been the party of the working guy, had my back. But if I'm really being honest, and this is tough to admit, but I can't remember the last time they did anything to improve the dignity and value of my job, a point that didn't really crystallize for him until it became personal, until his job was saved by a Republican.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so it goes on to talk about what is astounding, and this is really where I am just, I don't know, amused and entertained by the most right now. It goes on to say here, what is astounding post-election is the total lack of contrition Democrats have displayed for ignoring the working man and women bloc that has been the party's horn of plenty. The only regret they display is that they lost the election, not the voters. A lot of people who voted for Barack Obama both times ended up voting for Trump. And the reason being is, just as Robert James here has expressed, basically, some people turned around and said, hey, wait a minute. What have you guys done for me? How have you made my life better? See, that is the crux of a liberal thinker, is that they just respond and react without giving any thought to what it is they're responding or reacting to. It's just, if they say it, that must be it. Why do you think Obama's out there telling us, the Russians have hacked? Why do you think the media's out there carrying that message? The Russians hacked everything. It's the Russians. It's the Russians. Here come the Russians. Here come the Russians. Okay, that kind of thing. Why? Because the base will just believe it. They don't want to talk about what the damage they've done to the country. They don't want to talk about the jobs they've destroyed. They keep talking about Obama created all these jobs during his administration. No, he hasn't. And anything that's been created has been subpar. Part-time jobs, people underemployed, people just giving up looking, all this other stuff. So it's amazing. The Democrats and the academics and pundits, the article says, keep refusing to see is that the loss was never about Trump's candidacy. It was all about how Democrats have increasingly lost touch with their voters outside of coastal America until those voters finally hit their breaking point. Here's my point, and I'll ask you about this, Joe.
Okay.
It sounds like they're describing the GOP to me. I mean, it's like both parties are guilty of the same sin, just completely discounting their voters.
Yeah, well, that's what the GOP had done the last.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. People don't really want to drain the swamp.
Yeah, and that's the reason why the chosen candidates in the GOP, those elitists, the ones that everybody thought was going to be the Jeb Bushes, the Marco Rubios. That's why they did. That's why they didn't get nominated, because the people had enough, and we already know. Yeah, and you can see what the Democrats are doing. They're not exactly. They're not. Oh, the poor American voter. Oh, my goodness. No, it's the poor Democrat Party. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, they lost.
Here's the comment. I mentioned earlier, I was talking about the idea that the Democrats and the Republicans are both capitalists. Here's where the thought came from. I thought it was from the news show. I'm reading this article. This is where I got it. Okay. Listen to this. Dan Struther, a legendary Washington, D.C.-based Democratic strategist. We have completely lost touch with middle America. How did we go from the party of the little man to the party of the elite? Well, this is when I read it. The light clicked on. The reason being is because Democrats are just as greedy as Republicans are. And Republicans are just as greedy and power hungry as Democrats are.
Yes.
And the establishment on both sides of the political asylum are exactly the same. The battle is not about what's best for the country. The battle is about what is best for me. And me meaning those people in the establishment. How can government preserve my wealth and power? And what they've done is they campaign, they fund candidates that get into Congress that have the same mentality. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. That is what has happened, and it's happened on both sides. The Democrats are no more in touch with their base than the Republicans are with theirs. And this time, both sides had enough people that said, hey, wait a minute, what have you done for me lately? And said, you know what, at least Trump sounds, he's saying the right stuff. May not like the way he's saying it, but he's speaking the right message, and he's saying it the right way. He's saying it the way I talk to my wife when she's bitching at me about the bills. Yeah, where are we going to get the money to pay the bills this month? That kind of stuff. That's the rhetoric. Well, if it wasn't for that damn Obama, if it wasn't for those damn Democrats, if it wasn't for those damn Republicans, something might get done. But that's not what the game is about. Obama has one agenda, and I don't even know if that's entirely the Democrat Party agenda, but his agenda is fundamentally transforming the United States into a socialist Marxist, some type of socialist Marxist republic democracy. The Republicans, it's everything just status quo. Let's just preserve my power, preserve my prestige. I'll spend 30 years in Congress and then retire and become a lobbyist for R. Jane Reynolds, as John Boehner did.
Yeah, I'll just get rich off the backs of the public, and and I'll call myself a public servant, no less.
Yeah. I'll pander to the lobbyists while I'm in office, and then I'll become a lobbyist when I get out. So yeah, there you go. That's what it's all about there. So, having said that, it goes on to say here. Let me point out one other thing here before we go to the break here. Towards the bottom of the end of the article here. How do Democrats get out of this mess? Shake the Etch-a-Sketch a lot, this Mr. Strother says. Listen to this, guys. This is important. Don't have the same three consulting teams all working for all of the Democratic committees.
So where do we hear that? That was the obituary the Republicans got the last presidential cycle before this, in 2012.
Yeah. Now here's the kicker, guys. Having Planned Parenthood, AFSCME, I don't know what that is.
AFSCME.
Yeah, it must be some organization. And Emily's List, remember Emily's List, one of the leading proponents of homosexual marriage out there. Having these organizations centralized as the face, message, and dispatch for everything that the party is working. What they're saying is the face of the Democratic Party has changed into an activist organization that panders to, in most cases, a minority demographic for the purpose of perpetrating that they are the People's Party. And this guy is saying that doesn't work because most people, truthfully, if they're truthful, don't really give a damn about Planned Parenthood and Emily's List and Starbucks and Target. They don't really care what these people think or want, but they've bought into them. These are the people that are out there. These are the Democratic activists today. These are the ones out there perpetuating the big scheme and the big scam, because the government is pandering to them. The activists, the people in Congress are pandering to them, thinking that is all they need to win. The Democrats have bought into the lie that the minorities in this country, whether it be cultural, racial, or social, are actually the majority.
Well, they forgot their base, John. Let's face it. They used to be their base used to be blue collar, white, middle class Americans, labor.
Right.
They just completely ignored it, and and guess what? That's the same problem that the Republicans had.
Yeah, and let's point out here, Carrier is a union shop.
Yep.
Okay, so this guy is a union member, and he has recognized that even the union has been discarded outside of the money they give. And why is that? Because the people running the unions are establishment types, just like the people they're getting the money to. Okay, people in the unions aren't being represented. Their dues are being used, but they're not being represented. So there it is. There's the big picture. We got to go to a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, security, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get the Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. Okay, hey, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. Getting back here to this whole Russia hacking thing here. A little bit more of irony here. Some more irony involved in this whole process, this whole thinking, this whole creation of a narrative that I'm sure will serve strategically, at least in their own minds, many on the left, the Democrat Party, the media elites, the pundits, the whole nine yards. Okay? The idea that Russia is behind the election of Donald Trump. That's really, if we were going to give you a headline, that would be what it is. If I was promoting a leftist view, a leftist perspective here, it would be, my headline would be, Russians behind the election of Donald Trump.
That's exactly right, John. That's what they want. That's what they want the useful idiots to believe.
That's right. Yeah. That's an even better phrase. Okay. And speaking of useful idiots, here we go. One of the things that as we were playing the clips yesterday and today, between Adam Schiff out here in California and Tucker Carlson kept asking the same question: where's your proof? Everything you're telling us is speculation. You have no proof. You have no evidence. The Russians may have done it, but somebody else may have done it. You don't know. And now what you're doing is you're basically telling us a lie and expecting us to take it as the truth because you're telling us that's what it is.
Yep.
And you're referring to our intelligence agencies, which is an oxymoron these days. Okay? And so here's the deal. My thing is, if they really thought it was the Russians, and Barack Obama is now directed that there's going to be some kind of probe, and we'll get to that in just a moment here. But I wanted to touch on this part of it first so that you can just see the entire idiocy behind the thinking of the leftists in regard to this one particular topic right now. If the U.S. knows unequivocally that the Russians were behind the hacking of the DNC, and they have the intelligence agencies telling them that that's what's going on, you would think somewhere in the mix that somebody would have something simple like an IP address.
Oh my goodness, no way.
Yeah, now let's just let me give it a little bit more context here. You'll remember that just maybe a few days before the election, we were hearing about the fact that Donald Trump had a secret email account with a Russian bank, Alpha Bank. You remember that, Joe?
Yes.
Okay. And the reason they said was they had this whole panel of people, all these research agencies and all this other stuff out there telling us that they were pinging an IP address, that the Russian bank was pinging one of Trump's servers, and they identified it as an IP address. And that the evidence was, because it was being pinged so much, that they were saying the pattern told them or relayed to them the possibility, not the actuality, but the probability that there were communications going on between a Trump server and a Russian bank server, Alpha Bank, which is apparently heavily tied to Vladimir Putin. So that was their last ditch. That was one of their last ditch efforts out there to tie Trump to Russia. Now, if that was the case, you would think that somebody in the intelligence agencies, the 17 intelligence agencies, that somebody would be able to come up and say, we found this IP address from which the hacking came. You would think, I mean, that's pretty simple, really. I mean, and that's really how you validate and document who's doing what. Am I right? I'm not ignorant on this, right, Joe? Is this how it works?
Well, I mean, not that, it's unheard of to spoof an IP address.
Yeah, well, the IP address is everything. And by the way, I thought the government seized the net. Don't they have access to these IP addresses? Doesn't the NSA have access to these IP addresses? If there is hacking coming, couldn't somebody at least give an IP address? Even if it was in a computer cafe somewhere in downtown Moscow, there's still an IP address involved in all this stuff. But we haven't heard of any of that. But check this out. The reason I bring it up because Georgia, the state of Georgia, is accusing the U.S. Homeland Security Department of trying to hack into their election system. The DHS, one of the intelligence agencies that is being accredited with telling us it's the Russians hacking into the DNC and the Clinton campaign and the White House State Department, all this stuff. It's the Russians. The Russians are out there manufacturing all this propaganda through WikiLeaks and all this other stuff. And all of a sudden, Georgia comes out and says, no, it's the U.S. government trying to hack into our state election systems. Wow, think about that. Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp said a computer traced back to the federal agency in Washington tried unsuccessfully to penetrate the state office's firewall 1 week after the presidential election. The letter speculated that what it might describe as a large, unblocked scan event might have been a security test. All right, there was unblocked scan. That means looks like somebody was trying to scan their computer, like for viruses or adware. But it actually was a security test. They were testing the firewalls to see if they could break into the system. Now, it sought details whether the agency did, in fact, conduct the unauthorized scan, who authorized it, and whether other states might have been similarly probed. All right, now he goes on to say here, I'm trying to find it here as I'm going through here. Okay, the attempted hacks involved efforts to mine data from their voter registration system. That sounds like NSA to me. Isn't that what NSA was accused of doing, is data mining?
Data mining, yes.
Okay, now.
Oh, they were doing it.
Yeah, now what it says here is, I'm trying to find a line here where it says, they found an IP address that was directly tied to the Department of Homeland Security. All right? They found an IP address. So the states were able to determine that somebody tried to hack their system. They identified an IP address. They say it leads them to the Department of Homeland Security. And the federal government, who was out there not even alleging but stating as fact that the Russians were influencing Donald Trump, that they were the ones that hacked the DNC and the Clintons and the State Department and what other departments out there, whatever other departments they hacked into out there. The states were able to do it, but the federal government was not. Or the federal government never did or has not been able to identify who the hackers are. All right? So, my point is, if states can do it and find it that quickly, why are we still sitting here 2 years later after this narrative was first introduced, and still the federal government cannot tell us anything about who might actually be behind this? Your thoughts, Joe?
Well, it's just kind of you just kind of hit it. You go, gee, maybe what the shift and the other Democrats are doing is full of crap, because it is so easy to figure out that you can see it plain as day, like your eyeballs when you're looking in the mirror. You can see what they're trying to do, and you can see that they're just connect some dots, and you go, oh, none of this makes a damn bit of sense.
Yeah, and when you remember just prior to the elections, when the WikiLeaks stuff started really hitting big time.
Yeah, as I put out, remember the 50,000 Podesta emails.
Yeah, and Jay Johnson came out and was talking about the idea that the DHS needed to get involved in monitoring the state election systems because it was part of infrastructure.
It was critical infrastructure.
Right. And so the government needed to step in and have oversight over the state elections. And then we hear now that the DHS, apparently the accusations and allegations are, and probably much more accurate than everything we've been hearing from the left, because the state of Georgia says, we've got an IP address. We were able to identify where this came from.
But those things can be spoofed, John, is my point. So that's not a smoking gun per se, because they can be spoofed. And so you just get redirected and it looks like it's from here, but it's actually from somewhere else. But that's, you got high school, you got middle school kids that are able to do that.
Oh yeah, I get that. You can, I think the word proxy comes to my mind. Something where you can actually give the fake impression that something is coming from one place or another. But the point being is, somebody had an IP address that belonged to the DHS. Okay, now whether it was spooled, as you were saying, whether it was a cover or whatever, the IP address itself has been identified as belonging to the DHS, according to the state of Georgia. Am I correct? Am I reading that wrong?
Yeah, no, that's what you're saying.
Okay, so if that's the case, regardless of how it's being manipulated, there is a source that can be identified somewhere. And the point being is the federal government is telling us Russia's behind all this stuff, and they can't identify any source of anything.
Well,
okay, and in the same conversation, we've got the Department of Homeland Security saying we need to take it all over. Well, you can't even figure out
that's
who's
the key
doing
right
what
there.
now.
That's the part. That's the key right there. That's the key. They want to take it over.
Yeah, and isn't that how the government thinks? We've totally screwed things up, so give us more authority.
Yeah. We can fix it.
Yeah, we got to go to.
So please let us fix it.
Yeah, we got to go to a quick break here. We'll be right back, guys. Stay with us. There is an old saying: children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. The ConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. And just another quick word of encouragement. Check out our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. You can find out where all of our affiliates, people on our panel, why we do what we do, and, of course, all the archives of our shows, theconservativesyndicate.net. All right, we're still talking about the election, hacking, and all the other stuff that's being perpetrated out there by the left through the narrative. It's everybody's fault but theirs.
Hillary's fault she sucked.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Joe?
I said it's not Hillary's fault she sucked.
No, and it's not Obama's fault that they lost. It's not anybody's fault but the Russians.
It's the Russians' fault now.
Yeah, it's the Russians' fault, and those deplorable Southern white voters.
Yep, those racist Southern white voters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still fighting that battle. Yes, they're segregating. They want everybody. That was Democrats. Sorry.
Yeah. So apparently now Barack Obama himself is bought into this narrative, and I can tell you it's not about.
Oh no, Joe, I'm not bought into it. He's part of the source. He initiated it.
Oh yeah, I get that. What I'm getting, the point I'm trying to make here is that this is not about Obama is not involved in this trying to help Hillary Clinton. That's
and he's not in there to help the Democrat Party either.
No,
this is all
he's
about
there.
Barack Obama saving his own legacy.
Yeah, his legacy, his self-proclaimed legacy, which we outlined for you earlier in the show, and whether it's to be able to charge more money than the Clintons have for doing speeches, maybe turning out some more books through the ghostwriter Bill Ayers or whatever, or just preparing his resume for world domination up at the UN, or a combination of all three. Who knows? All right. But he has now ordered an election-related hacking investigation.
Of course he has.
Yeah. It says here that President Barack Obama has ordered a full review of hacking-related activity aimed at disrupting last month's presidential election. And he expects that report before he leaves office on January 20th, a top White House official said. Now,
chop, make that happen. That's a month away. Chop, chop, chop.
So what it is we need Homeland Security advisor Lisa Monaco.
Monaco, like the country, Monaco.
Monaco. Oh, is that okay? Okay. Yeah, see, it depends on what part of the country you're from.
Monaco.
Yeah. We may be crossed into a new threshold, and it is incumbent upon us to take stock of that, to review, to conduct some after action, to understand what this means, what has happened, and to impart these lessons learned. Okay, this is Lisa Monaco.
I love this, how she goes, Monaco struck an ominous tone in internet-related dangers, calling them among the most significant national security issues facing the new administration. Trump's team will inherit a rapidly growing threat in this space across all dimensions, she said, including intrusions from hacktivists and criminal actors. Remember, I said they want to create the climate that, hey, no matter what he does, he's going to fail.
Now, I want to just take a moment here and tie this together with another thread of their strategy, which we're not going to get into, but we know the argument and debate about the Electoral College.
Yes.
The Democrats want a democracy. They want rule by the mob, and that means strictly majority. All right? I think I pointed out yesterday, if I didn't, I should have. All the votes in California have been tabulated. 14.9 million voters in California voted, okay? Hillary got about 8 million of them, and Trump got about half that. All right, now, that's the popular vote, that has been cushioning this narrative that Hillary should have won because she won the popular vote.
Yeah.
Okay, now the
So the rest of the nation should feel like California. Those in Iowa, those in North Dakota, those in Montana, and Tennessee, they should think just like Californians do.
Yeah, and of course we can't forget New York also. So the point being is this fits into it's a piece that fits into the narrative that we need to do away with the Electoral College. Now, how does that play into hacking and everything else? It doesn't. What it does do is it justifies to the government their need to overstep their authority and step into state affairs.
That's right. They say the system's broken. We need to fix it.
Right. And so what we'll do is we'll ensure that the popular vote will evenly and equally represent everything. Let's get rid of the Electoral College. And what does that do? That opens the door for voter fraud.
Absolutely. And it makes sure that California, New York, and Illinois will have a control of what happens in this nation from then on.
Yeah, we can go back to union thugs standing outside the factory beating the hell out of anybody that refuses to vote the way they want.
Yeah, and then you go in and you will vote. So let's say you don't want to vote. I'm not going to go vote for anything. No, they're going to drag your butt out of the house and make you vote.
Yeah, exactly. So these things are fitting together. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll probably emphasize this over and over again so that you know and you recognize what's happening here when it happens.
Because and thankfully, Barack Obama has given us the deadline for it to happen this January 20th. So before January 20th, we'll have a full disclosure on what exactly they want to do for the next 4 years to make Donald Trump's presidency, his first term, to be illegitimate.
Now, Monaco said that the report, here's the closing line here, and we're almost out of time here. Monaco said the report would be shared with a range of stakeholders, including members of Congress, but she did not commit to making the findings of the review public.
Who are the ultimate stakeholder?
Yeah, the ultimate stakeholders are, of course, the elitists, the establishment. The
stakeholder in American election is the public.
Yeah, we'll give it to members of Congress, but we're not going to give it to the public. Yeah. Let's keep it all behind closed doors so that we can continue to sell the false narrative out there.
Oh, gee.
Okay, guys, we're out of time here because it's Friday, and we have a little special thing that we like to do on Fridays to close the show out. We'll be back on Monday, 3 o'clock out here on the left coast, 6 o'clock on the east coast. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Guide me to who you want me to help. Raise up more that will call upon your name. Raise up those that love you and seek you and trust you. Raise them up, Lord. Raise them up. Lord, we need a generation of believers who are not ashamed of the gospel. We need an army of believers, Lord, that hate to be lukewarm and will stand on your word above all else. Raise them up, Lord. Raise them up. I pray for unity among those that love you. I pray that you open their eyes so that they can see your truth, Lord. I pray for your hand of protection and guidance. Raise up a generation, Lord, that will take light into this world, that will not compromise when under pressure, that will not cower, Lord, when others fall away. Raise them up, Lord, that they will proclaim that there is salvation in the name of Jesus Christ. Raise up warriors, Lord, who will fight on their knees, who will worship you with their whole hearts, Lord. Lord, call us to battle, that we may proclaim you King of kings and Lord of lords. I pray these things with all my heart. Raise them up, Lord, raise them up.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hago, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.